Hello my dear students, welcome back. It's so good to see you. How was the quiz? It's not bad, isn't it? Pretty much everything that we learned is kind of quizzed on you, okay? So good. Now keep up with it, all right? Okay, good. Now in this sub lesson, we're going to talk about combined operation. We learned how to add, we learned how to subtract, we learned how to multiply, and then we also learned how to divide. Now what happens, we combine all them into one problem. How do you solve them? It's kind of like this way, okay? How many times when you're traveling with your mom and dad, like the toll road, all right, on the toll plaza, so you got, let's say there's only one toll plaza, okay, there's only one entrance and there are 5 cars and each of them was trying to get in there. So if there's no priority, what happens? Everybody trying to rush in there, am I right? So there got to be some kind of priority, right? This lane goes first and then this one goes next and then so forth, am I right? Otherwise, can you imagine that everybody's trying to get into that one lane into the toll plaza? What's going to happen? It's going to be an accident, okay? So just like that, mathematics also has some sort of rule where it tells which operation perform first and then next and so forth if you have all in one problem. Alright, so that's what we're going to learn. So let's say, for example, if I were to give you a problem like this, okay, say let's say 16 plus 4 times 2 minus 8 divided by 4. Look at that. Oh, it looks scary, isn't it? Don't worry, at the end of this lesson it's going to be such a piece of cake, okay? So but look at that, all the operation, I got addition in there, multiplication in there, division in there, subtraction in there. Which one should go first? See that? So that's where the rules comes in. The rules is, this is the rule, alright? B M D A S. Alright, what is that? Mr. Matt, what is that? BMDAS, okay? What that means, bracket. Anything inside the bracket has the top priority, okay? So bracket comes first, alright? And then multiplication or division, alright? So multiplication or division, you can decide which one, when it comes to multiplication division, you go from left to right. So which one comes first? You perform that, alright? And then you go to the right, alright? So that's where multiplication, division, and then addition and subtraction, same thing, left to right. See that? So what's the first top priority is? Bracket, alright? Keep in mind, bracket plays a very important role. When you see a bracket, that's the one you want to solve it first, alright? Then multiplication or division, okay? So multiplication or division, and then addition or subtraction, okay? So keep in mind, so which one comes first? Bracket. In this case, Mr. Mac didn't give you a bracket, but we'll do some problems, alright, involving everything. So now let's use this principle into this problem. But before we do that, let's figure out something to say, something that we'll memorize this, we'll remember this. Let's say, for example, BMDAS. How about this? Best mathematics developed at SCOE. How about that? So now you remember that, okay? So remember, best mathematics developed at SCOE, okay? So BMDAS. Alright? Okay, good. So now let's apply that into this. Now remember, which one should come first? Now in this case, there's no bracket, alright? So we're going to go to the next one. So in this case, there's no bracket. We can go to the next one, which is the multiplication and division. So let's look for multiplication division first, right there. We can multiply this to 4 times 2 is 8. And then we can divide this to 8 divided by 4 is 2, alright? See that? Now maintain the minus there, alright? And then maintain the plus here, and then put the 16. See, because you just saw this one, 8 divided by 4, that gave you 2. Bring the minus down, then 4 times 2 is 8, bring the plus down, right there, and then bring the 16 down. Okay, so now we go to the next one. Since we already got multiplication and division out of the way, so we go to the next one, addition and subtraction. So when you come to addition and subtraction, now who comes priority? Doesn't matter. You go from left to right, perform left to right. This case, from the left, 16 plus 8, you do the first, and then you subtract that by 2. So 16 plus 8 is, so we line it up, 16 and then 8. 6 plus 8 is 14, 4, carry 1, 1 plus 1 is 2. So 24. So 24 minus 2. which would be, so 24 minus 2, 4 minus 2 is 2. So bring the 2 down, which is 22. See that? Can you imagine that? If I were to break the rule, if I were to just start doing the way it is, let's say for example, let's break the rule, okay? So 16 plus 4 is what? Let's rewrite this one. 16 plus 4 times 2 minus 8 divided by 4. 16 plus 4 is 20. So we're going to put 20 and then times 2. So 20 times 2 is 40, okay? So 40 minus 8 divided by 4, okay? So 40 minus 8 is 32. So 32 divided by 4. So what's 32 divided by 4 from our timetable? 8, okay? Because 8 times 4 is 32. Look at that. This gives you 8, and when we follow the rules, gave us 22. That's a huge difference. Can you imagine that if you're the engineer building a bridge and then in, let's say, Malaysia side, all right? Okay, and there's another engineer on the Singapore side. So you're building this bridge connecting from Johor to Singapore. And let's say you are the engineer, okay? And it belongs to SCOI Math Victory Student. And you following the right way using the best mathematics developed at SCOI, and then the Singapore engineer using the wrong mathematics. So guess what? So the agreement is Singapore builds the other half and then we build the other half so that we join. Guess what happens? The engineer in Singapore didn't obey the rule. The bridge is going to be what's going to happen? It's going to go this way. The Malaysia part, which is you the engineer, straight up. See that? That's a huge loss, isn't it? Just because you didn't obey the rule. Can you imagine that when the bridge is off and it's not going to meet? Are we going to scrap the whole half of the bridge coming from Singapore? That is going to be a huge expense. So that says that don't underestimate. All this minor mistake makes a huge difference. Alright? Okay, good. Alright, so now you understand the importance of combined operation. When you're dealing with combined operation, what method we're going to use? Best mathematics developed at SCOI. Alright? Okay, good. Which means bracket first, multiplication and division next, and then addition and subtraction followed by it. Okay, good. Let Mr. Mac erase the board and we'll put more problems out and we'll apply this principle. Okay? I'll be back with you in a few seconds. Alright, my dear students, I got this up here, okay? Best mathematics developed at SCOI, okay? Now, let's say for example, we have a problem that only has addition and subtraction. Okay, let's say if I give you a problem that's 6 plus 2 minus 8. So, who comes first? Doesn't matter. When there's a plus and minus, just use left to right. Add 6 plus 2 is 8. So 8 minus 8 is 0, right there. Okay? Doesn't matter which direction, who comes first. As long you go from left to right. So let's say for example, if I have a 12 minus 4 plus 7. So what do? Again, even though the minus is in the front, don't see that even though I had addition, subtraction, doesn't matter. Even though the minus came first, perform that operation first. So in other words, 12 minus 4 is 8. 8 plus 7 is 15. There you go. That's 15 right there. So pretty easy, isn't it? Okay, keep in mind, very important, go from left to right when you have addition and subtraction. The same thing with multiplication and division. Alright, if I were to give you 6 times 2 divided by 3. Alright, and how do I do this? Again, go from left to right, just like with the addition, left to right. So 6 times 2 is 12. 12 divided by 3 is 4. That's it. Okay, if I were to give you, let's say 15 divided by 3 times 2. So how do I do this? You take 15 divided by 3. Again, we're going to use left to right. Okay, 15 divided by 3 is 5. 5 times 2 is 10. There you go. Very important, okay? Do not say, okay, well, Mr. Mac had it multiplication first before division. That means I have to multiply first before I divide. No. When it comes to multiplication, division, you go from left to right. When it comes to addition and subtraction, again, you go left to right, okay? So those pair, all right, when it comes in a pair, okay? Now, let's say, for example, I have a combination of addition, subtraction, and multiplication. Okay, let's do that. So let's see if I have a problem. 12 minus 4 times 2 plus 3. So how do I do this? Exactly, you got to obey that rule. The rule says what? Well, we don't have a bracket, but we surely have a multiplication. That means we have to perform the multiplication first. Now, when you're multiplying, be sure to obey the negative signs, alright? Okay, because they will stay there, alright? If it's a positive, the positive stays there. Do not change it. Pay attention to negative. I'm going to use this keyword to you now on. Don't underestimate the power of negative, okay? Now on, whenever you see a negative, there should be an antenna, boom, should pop out, okay? Because negative is very powerful. You miss out the negative, the whole problem will be off. Alright? I'm not saying that positive is not important, but we always know the presence of positive, but sometimes we miss out the negative. It sneaks into you. Don't let that happen. Alright? Whenever you see the negative, boom, the antenna should go up. Alright? Okay, good. And what's the word for negative we're going to use? Don't underestimate the power of negative. Okay, good. So good. Now let's look at this. So we're going to do which one first? The multiplication first. Alright? Okay, so we're going to multiply 4 times 2, which is 8. See the negative? You bring the negative back down. Alright? And then we're going to put the 12 over here and then plus 3 over here. Now we are back to what? Subtraction and addition. That means what we do? Left to right. Exactly, left to right. So 12 minus 8 is 4. And then 4 plus 3 is 7. See that? Very easy. Just obey the rule. You'll never make a mistake. Now let's say, for example, we're going to apply some bracket into it. Okay, let's say if I give you 3 plus 2 times 4 minus 5. So what do? Well, Mr. Mac, you said plus multiplication should go first. No, don't go by what the rule says. What the rule says? Bracket should come first, not multiplication. Alright? See that? Bracket, after that's multiplication. Even though inside the bracket says what? There's an addition in there. Alright? Doesn't matter. Because the bracket says, I am the top priority. That means whatever inside the bracket, you solve it first. That means 3 plus 2 is what? 5. Once you're done, then rewrite it. So now 5 times, now the bracket is gone. Now you apply the multiplication. 5 times 4 is 20. 20 minus 5, 15. See that? Pretty easy, isn't it? So the key thing is what? Bracket plays a very important role. Alright? It has the top priority, okay? Even though there's a plus inside there. Because we know the multiplication takes priority above plus, but plus is inside the bracket, but bracket is more top priority than multiplication. See that? So you do what's inside the bracket. Okay, good. Let's do another one. Let's say, for example, if I give you 6 minus 4 plus 3 times 2. So in this case, I'm just going to put a bracket right there. Alright? So how do I do this? Pretty easy. Subtract that first. So 6 minus 4 is 2, and then plus 3 times 2 is 6, which gives you 8. See that? Pretty easy, isn't it? Let's do another one. Okay, let's say, for example, if I give you 9 divided by 3 plus 4 times 2. So pretty easy, isn't it? Because we know that division and multiplication as a higher priority than the addition. So I'm going to combine this and combine this. In other words, I'm going to perform this operation and then I'm going to perform this operation. And then I'm going to add them. So 9 divided by 3 is 3. 4 times 2 is 8. 3 plus 8 is exactly 11. See that? That's it. Pretty easy. Okay? So just obey the rules. Alright? Okay? Let's do another one. Let's say, for example, if I give you 3 times 4 plus 5 minus 6. So how do I do? Exactly. Perform what's inside the bracket first. So 4 plus 5 is 9. So we're going to put that 9 times 3 minus 6. You can always rewrite it, the whole thing. So it helps you a lot. Okay, once you perform what's inside the bracket, you can take out the bracket out. Because you already done what's inside the bracket. The purpose of the bracket is trying to tell you whatever contained inside the bracket, solve it. Once it's done, the bracket disappears. See that? So now 3 times 9, so now between multiplication and subtraction, who has the priority? Definitely multiplication. Am I right? 3 times 9 is 27. So we got 27 minus 6 gives us 21. Or another way of doing it, when you have something like that, you can line it up too. Okay? So 7 minus 6 is 1, and then you bring the 2 down. Okay, so that gives you 21. Alright? Alright, so far I give you simple small numbers. Let's look at some big numbers. Alright? Okay, I'll be back with you in a few seconds. Alright, my dear students, I got 4 problems listed on the board. Okay, so let's do them. Alright, let's do the first one. The first one says 9 plus 15 times 8 divided by 6. Now how are we going to do? We're going to use the left to right method? No, Mr. Mac. We're going to use the Bass Mathematics Developed X Square method. Alright? Okay, so that means which one comes first? Either multiplication or division. Okay, so in this case it's that multiplication and then division. They kind of follow like this. So always you apply left to right. So we're going to use left to right on this part, and then we're going to add to the 9. See that? So always good when you look at the problem. Okay, when you look at the rules that was given, apply them. Before you apply them, kind of talk to yourself. Alright, I got multiplication and division, and also got plus, but the priority we're going to give is the multiplication and division. But I got multiplication and division together, so I'm going to use that part. I'm going to use left to right. See that? Left to right. So we're going to times first, and then we're going to divide that by 6. Okay, so let's do that. So 15 times 8. So what's 15 times 8? 8 times 5 is 8 times 5 is 40, okay? 0, carry 4. 8 times 1 is 8, plus 4 is 12, okay? So 120. So now we're going to take 120, we're going to divide that by 6. Alright? Something like this is outside our timetable range. So what method we're going to use? Long division. When I say the long division, what should come to your mind? The cage approach, okay? So we're going to use the cage approach. We're going to put the cage. So 120 is kind of into Mr. Mac. I'm going to put inside the cage. And 6 is kind of out from Mr. Mac. I'm going to put outside the cage. See that? Right. Once you set up that, right, just division, okay? First digit, you can. Go to the next digit, 12. In 12, there's how many 6? 2. Very good. 2 times 6 is 12. Minus gives you 0. When you come to 0 and you got 1 0 at the back, what do? Just bring it up, okay? So that gives you 120 divided by 6 is 20, okay? So we got 20, and then we bring the plus and then 9 right there. So now you add the 20 to the 9, okay? So line it up. So 20 plus 9 gives you what? 29. So the final answer should be 29. That's it. And I assure you, when you use the rule and you obey the rule, you follow exactly like that, you'll never make a mistake. Mathematics is very forgiving. I shouldn't say very forgiving. Cut. Mathematics is very particular. If you follow the rules, you will never make a mistake. If you break the rules, what's going to happen? It's going to be a wrong answer. Alright? Okay? So mathematics is very strict. You got to obey the rules, alright? If you don't, you're going to make a mistake, alright? Okay, come back here. Okay, let's do this one now. Problem number 2. Now look at that. Problem 2, you got division, you got bracket, and multiplication, okay? Let's refer back to the Bass Mathematics Developed X Square, okay? So which one comes first? The bracket. Exactly. Good job. You got it. Okay? That means whatever inside the bracket, doesn't matter. Even though it's a subtraction, alright? Even though we know subtraction comes at the end, doesn't matter. We still perform because bracket says, I am top priority, alright? You know, bracket's kind of arrogant, isn't it? Alright, okay. Let's do that. Okay, so we can subtract that, okay? 20 minus 12. So let's line it up. 20 minus 12. Okay, very important. Whenever you have a big numbers you're subtracting, don't try to do it in your head. Always line them up, okay? So 0 minus 2, you can borrow from 2. 2 becomes 1 and 0 becomes 10. 10 minus 2 is 8. 1 minus 1 is 0. So that becomes 8. And then let's rewrite. 24 divided by 8 times 3. So now look at that. You got division and multiplication together in that problem. What method do I use? Very good. Left to right method. Okay, so we're going to go left to right. So that means we're going to divide first and then we're going to multiply. So 24 divided by 8. Now remember, this one's now timetable range. So we're not going to use the long division. You don't want to waste your time. Time is precious. Alright? So you want to, so that's why Mr. Max said timetable is so important. Alright? So 24 divided by 8 is what? Very good, it's 3, because 3 times 8 is 24, the reverse of that. So we know this is going to be 3, so that means 3 times 3, it will be 9. So your final answer should be 9 right there. Okay, pretty easy, isn't it? Okay, good. All right, let's go to the next one. Look at this one. You got 4. Now you wonder, Mr. Mac, why there's no sign is showing there? Now another way of showing a multiplication with a bracket is this. Now this is also same as this. 16 minus 4. All right. Now you don't have to show the multiplication. You can take the multiplication off and you can write it like this. See that? And that means 4 is multiplying to the bracket, whatever inside the bracket. Alright, so keep in mind, okay? So this is another way. Alright, let me show you another thing that you can also do, the multiplication. I can even put a dot like this. This is also multiplication, okay? The dot should be in the middle, okay, right there. Because if the dot is in the bottom, it's a decimal, okay? If the dot is in the middle, it's a multiplication, okay? So keep in mind. So 16 minus 4, like that. Same thing. Or I can also write, let's say 4 times 6, or 4 times 6, or 4 bracket 6, like this. This is all our multiplication. Alright, keep in mind, okay? So 4 times 6, 4 times 6, 4 times 6. Now don't mix it up with this 4, see the decimal right there, that is 4.6. it's not 4 times 6. So if the dot is in the middle, that means it's multiplying. If it's in the bottom like that, it's a decimal. Alright, so make sure you know the difference. And if it's like this, it's multiplying. Alright, okay, keep in mind. Okay, so that means we're going to solve whatever is inside the bracket first. So 16 minus 4, okay, 16 minus 4, 6 minus 4 is 2, and then bring 1 down, so there will be 12. 12 times, so we can put times 4, we can just put like this. Alright, same thing. Okay, or you can just put a bracket and then 4, but be careful when you've done this, don't forget it's multiplying. Alright, so we can put the plus back here, and then 12 minus 9 is what? 3. Okay, so 3, either you can put like this, same thing, or times like that. Now 4 times 12 is what? 48. So 48 plus 7 times 3, 21. Now we're going to add this 2, line them up. Okay, so we're going to put 48, line it up with 21, and we're going to add it. 8 plus 1 is 9, 4 plus 2 is 6. So that gives us 69. And that's your final answer. Alright, oh, wrong side, right here, 69. Okay, okay, very important. Okay, see that, let's review this again. Okay, keep in mind, this means 4 is multiplying this, so everything inside the bracket. See that, the key word is multiplying everything inside the bracket. Okay, so whatever the solution comes out, 16 minus 4 is what? 12. That means 12 is multiplying with 4. The same thing here, 12 minus 9 is what? 3. 3 is multiplying with 7. Alright, so now 4 times 12 is 48, 7 times 3 is 21, and then we combine that to give us 69. See that? Very easy, isn't it? Straightforward. Okay, no matter how big the number I give you, doesn't matter, it should be easy to you, because we did that from previous sub lesson. We learned how to add, we learned how to subtract, we learned how to multiply, we learned how to divide with big numbers. So if I combine them, just use what we learned from the previous lessons, but just obey the rules. The rules is bracket comes first, multiplication comes next, or division, either one, and then addition and subtraction followed at the end. See that? Okay, let's do this one. Again, the same thing. The bracket plays the important role. Okay, priority. The top priority is bracket. So you add them first. Okay, so 8 plus 6 is 14. So 14 times 12. You can leave it like this, or you can even put the, if you don't want to put the bracket, then you can just write down 12 times 14. Same thing. Alright, and then we can divide that with 7. So see, you got multiplication and division. So which one do I do first? That's right, left to right, doesn't matter. Whatever comes first from left to right, that being performed first. Okay, in this case, multiplication comes first. So I'm going to multiply 12 with 14. Okay, so 14 times 12, line them up. Very important, line them up. Okay, 2 times 4 is 8. 2 times 1 is 2. 1 times, now look at that 1. When I come to the 1, straight down here, we're going to start right here. See that? Pay attention on lining up. Okay, 1 times 4 is 4, 1 times 1 is 1. Now we're going to add them. 8 2 plus 4 is 6, and then bring 1 down. Okay, so that turned out to be 168 divided by 7. Okay, so you got one more operation to perform, which is a division operation. Now this number is big, outside our timetable range, okay, for 7. So what method we're going to use? Good job, the long division method. When we say the word long division, what should come to your mind? Awesome, you are Mr. Max student. You surely belong to SCOI Method 3. Yes, we're going to use the cage approach, okay? So let's find a space here. Alright, right here, let's do right here. Okay, I'm going to put the cage right there. And then 168 is kind of into Mr. Mac, I'm going to put inside the cage. And then 7 is kind of outside, I'm going to put outside the cage. Alright, ask yourself, first digit you can, go to the second digit, that makes it 16. In 16 there's how many 7? Very good, 2. And 2 times 7 is 14. Subtract, 6 minus 4 is 2, 1 minus 1 is 0, and then you bring the 8. In 28, there's how many 7? Awesome, good job, 4. See that? Timetable comes handy, isn't it? This I told you from the day one. Make sure you know your timetable. If you didn't know your timetable, naughty, naughty, naughty. Alright, 4 times 7 is 28. Okay, when we subtract, gives you 0, you're done. There's no more digit to bring it down, so you're done. So that means 24. So the whole answer is going to be 20 for the final answer, right there. Isn't that fun? I told you, mathematics is so much fun. But the key is what? You got to obey the rules, alright? And it is easy. It is easy and fun as long you obey the rules. Alright, boys and girls. Alright, my dear students. What tells you? It's time for hands-on practice. Yes, yes. You ready for that? Good, I know you are. Okay, well, Pablo's busy working on the worksheet, okay? So, give me a few minutes. Mr. Max is going to give me a few seconds, and the Max... Give me a few seconds, Mr. Max is going to erase the board and I'll be back with you. Alright? Okay, I'll see you in a few seconds. Dear students, are you ready for some hands-on practice? Alright, let's see what Pablo's doing. Look like he's ready. Let's call him. Pablo, come on over. Bring the worksheet. Our dear students are ready for some hands-on practice. Oh my goodness, I'm so happy you're excited. Alright? Okay, do this. Once Pablo hand over the worksheet to you, go ahead, pause the video and have fun with it. Alright? After you're done, invite Mr. Mac in and we can work together. Alright? Here it is. Have fun, my dear students. Alright. Okay, great. Look at that. Oh, 12 questions. Piece of cake, isn't it? How was it? Not bad, isn't it? I know you'll do good because you're Mr. Max student and you belong to an elite group, which is Score A Math Victory. That means you are best. You are the best, and that means you are the best, and you deserve the best. And Mr. Mac will only bring the best for you. All right, my dear students, let's get to it. Okay. All right. The first question, it gives us 24 plus 36 minus 47. All right. So now, when you have a problem like this, what you should do? Just write down the rules, which is what? Best mathematics developed at Score A. Right there. Okay? So then use that principle use that rules and apply that into the problem. Alright? So what does it say? Bracket, multiplication, division, addition and subtraction. This problem we get addition and subtraction. That means we can go, since both addition and subtraction is in there, which method do we use? Left to right method. Exactly. So in other words, we add first and then we subtract. Okay, so let's add them. So line them up. 24 plus 36. Okay, so 4 plus 6 is 10, 0 carry 1, 1 plus 2 is 3, 3 plus 3 is 6. So you got 60, okay? Now we're going to subtract that with 47. So you take the 60 and line it up with 47 and then you subtract them. 0 minus 7, you can't. You borrow from 6, 6 becomes 5 and 0 becomes 10. 10 minus 7 is 3, okay? So 5 minus 4 is 1. So that means the answer is 13. That's it. Pretty easy, isn't it? See, I told you, it is easy. Just obey the rules, okay? Let's go to problem number 2. Problem number 2 is 16 divided by 4 times 5. So look at this problem. What do you got? You got division and multiplication. All right. So by looking at the best mathematics developed at score A, what comes first? Well, in this case, since you got division and multiplication, so we're going to use either multiplication or division. All right. That means we're going to use what method? Left to right method. Exactly. Okay. So do what's come first, which is division comes first. So we're going to do 16 divided by 4, and then we're going to multiply that with 5. Okay. So 16 divided by 4 is what? 4, because this is in our timetable range. Okay. So 4 times 5, and also in our timetable range. So we're going to say, we're going to find that's going to give us. So 4 times 5 is 20. There you go. That's your final answer. Alright. So let's look at problem number 3. So problem number 3, you got 7 times 12 divided by 6. Alright. Now look at this. Earlier we have division came first and then multiplication. So we pretty much use the left to right method. Okay. The same thing. In this problem, the multiplication comes first and then the division. Doesn't matter who comes first, you just use the left to right. Okay, solve this first and then you divide. Very important. Okay, so 7 times 12, now that's in our timetable. Alright, so what 7 times 12 is? 84. Okay, so 84 divided by 6. Alright, so now this is outside our timetable range, because 84, it's outside the timetable range for 6. So we're going to use the, when I say long division method, what method do we use? The cage approach. Okay, the cage approach. So 84 is kind of into Mr. Mac, I'm going to put inside the cage, and 6 is kind of out from Mr. Mac, I'm going to put outside the cage. In 8, there's how many 6? 1. 1 times 6 is 6, 8 minus 6 is 2. Then I bring the 4 down. In 24, there's how many 6? Very good, 4. 4 times 6 is 24, minus gives me 0. And that means that's the end of it, okay? So that means 84 divided by 6 is 14. There we go. Okay, good. Let's look problem number 4. Now problem number 4, they give us 75 minus 49 plus 32. So what do we got? We got subtraction and addition. So that means we're going to use what method? Left to right. So whenever you have identical group operation like minus and addition and subtraction, or multiplication and division, they are same group. I shouldn't say identical group. They are the same group. Okay? Because remember we kind of talked about multiplication, division is one group, addition and subtraction in one group. So when they come as a pair, you got to use the left to right method. Okay? So again we're going to use the left to right. That means we're going to subtract first and then we're going to add. See that? Subtract and then add. Okay, so let's do that. 75, we're going to line it up. 75 minus 49. Okay, we're going to subtract. 9 minus 5 minus 9, we can't, so we're going to borrow from 7. 7 becomes 6, 5 becomes 15. 15 minus 9 is 6. 6 minus 4 is 2, so it gives us 26. So now I got 26. I'm going to add that with 32. So now I take 26, line it up with 32. 6 plus 2 is 8. 2 plus 3 is 5. So that gives me 58. See that? You got it? Good job. Give yourself a nice pat. Alright? Give it an extra pat. This is from Mr. Mac. Okay? I'm so proud of you. Alright boys and alright my dear students, Mr. Mac's going to erase the board and then we'll do problem number 5. I'll be back within a few seconds. Alright my dear students, problem number 5. Mr. Mac erased that principle. Alright, let's write that down. Mr. Mac erased that formula. Mr. Mac erased that rule. Let's write that down, okay? So what is it again? Best mathematics developed at score A. Alright? Okay. Now if you know something cool, if you come up with something cool, that's good. Alright? So you write something, and if you do, email it to Mr. Mac so that I know what it is. I can use that in my future teaching. Alright? So this is Mr. Mac kind of made it last minute. This is something Mr. Mac did in the last minute. So if you have something really cool, do it. Okay, Mr. Mac, I want to see it. Well, how cool it is. Okay. All right. Let's get back here. Problem number 5. Problem number 5. We were given 12 plus 8 times 6 minus 7. All right. Now always remember, when you're solving a problem, look at the problem and try to understand what the problem is given to you, okay? Like in this case, look at it. So look at it. Analyze that problem. You got plus, you got multiplication, you got subtraction. You got mix between plus, multiplication, and subtraction. See that? So we're going to use the BMDS, okay? Alright, so that means who comes first? There's no bracket, alright? Then what's next? Multiplication. That means I have to solve this first before I can do anything else. Alright, so let's do that. 8 times 6 is, from our timetable, good job, 48, okay? So 48, so we can put 48 and then minus 7 plus 12. See that? Once you solve this one, bring it down and then follow like that. Alright, make us a habit doing something like this. And then you're going to use left to right method. So we're going to add 12 with 48, okay? So we're going to put 48 plus with 12, 8 plus 2 is 10, 0 carry 1, 1 plus 4 is 5, 5 plus 1 is 6. So we solve this one, 60 minus 7 now, alright? So now we're going to line it up again, 60 minus 7, 0 minus 7, you can't borrow from 6, 6 becomes 5, 0 becomes 10, 10 minus 7 is 3, and then you bring the 5 down. So that gives you 53. Alright? See, it's very important. See, another thing, look at this. It gives you a upside down pyramid, okay? Upside down triangle or pyramid. The reason why I'm trying to show that is, when you solve it like this, alright, you'll come to the answer. Do step by step, don't rush it, okay? So it's very important. Solve it and then come down. And that's the best way to organize your work, okay? So let's look problem number 6, and let's use this principle, upside down triangle or pyramid method, okay? So problem number 6, we got 72 divided by 9 divided by 4 times 6. Oh, what kind of problem is that, Mr. Mac? Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Why? We're just going to use Best Mathematics Developed X Score A method. Alright? So, who comes first? Well, we got division and multiplication. Doesn't matter. If we have division and multiplication, we're going to use the left to right method. So we're going to do left to right. That means we're going to solve this first. After that, we're going to solve this. And then after that, we're going to solve that. See that? That's it. Alright? Okay, let's do that. Okay? So, first, we're going to solve this too. Alright? So, 72 divided by 9. 72 divided by 9 is in our timetable range. What is it? Good job. It's 8. Okay? So that gives me 8 divided by 4 times 6. Alright? So now I'm going to combine this two. That means I'm going to solve that. 8 divided by 4 is 2 times 6. Then we're going to solve this, which is what? 12. Look at that. Isn't that awesome? Isn't that cool? I told you, math is so much fun. You can have so much fun with it. So don't ever think math is difficult, alright? If you've always been taught math is difficult, what are you going to do now? Erase that. Remove it and say, I am with Score A Math Victory. I'm with a champion. I am a champion. You are a champion. Because you're the best. You belong to the best. Alright? So keep in mind. So that means mathematics should never be difficult. It's going to be easy and fun. Fun, fun, fun. Mathematics is fun because why? You are with Score A Math Victory. Alright? Alright, boys. Alright, my dear students. Come back here now. Let's do problem number 7. Okay? Problem number 7. Okay, we got 8 times 6 minus 4 divided by 4. Now who's involved? Oh, the bracket. The bracket has the top priority. That means whatever's inside the bracket, gotta go do first. Okay? So let's do that. What's inside the bracket? 6 minus 4. So we solve that and then rewrite everything else around it. Okay? Now you got multiplication, division, left to right method. Okay? So we're going to solve this first. 8 times 2 is 16. And then rewrite that, divided by 4. Okay? Now we solve this one. 16 divided by 4 is 4. Right there. That's your final answer. 4. Isn't that fun? Alright, see that? Upside down triangle method. Okay, let's look problem number 8. So problem number 8. Now look at this. I forgot to mention this. Look at that. I kind of put multiplication right there, times. Now this is also can be written as 8, 6 minus 4 divided by 4. Same thing. Alright? In this case I kind of put the multiplication. So now let's look at problem 8. Now problem 8 you got 5 times 3 plus 2 minus 7 times 10 minus 8. Look at that. See that? Earlier I kind of put a multiplication there. Here I didn't put it. That means this is 5 is multiplying this whole thing inside the bracket. Very important. Understand that, okay? Whatever inside the bracket is multiplying with 5. Whatever inside this bracket is multiplying with 7. We're going to solve it what? Inside the bracket first. See that? Inside the bracket first, okay? So 3 plus 2 is 5. Minus 7. 10 minus 8 is 2. See that? Now I'm going to multiply. 5 times 5 is 25. 7 times 2 is 14. Pretty easy, isn't it? Then I'm going to solve this too. Line them up. 25 and 14 minus 5 minus 4 is 1. 2 minus 1 is 1. That means 11. See that? Isn't that exciting? You got it? Good job. I know you got it, but good. But just follow with Mr. Mac. We learn together. Double. You did it on your own, plus Mr. Mac's explaining to you. Can you imagine that? How much you'll learn that way? Twice. Alright? Okay, good. Alright, boys and girls. Alright, my dear students. Let Mr. Mac erase the board, okay? So we got some more space and we can do more problems, okay? I'll be back with you in a few seconds. Alright, problem number 9. Okay, so problem number 9, we got 325 divided by 49 minus 24 inside the bracket plus 8. Alright, so what method we're going to use? Mr. Mac erased it again. Alright, you tell me this time what it is, okay? Alright, good. What's next? Alright, and then? Good job. And then? Good job. And then? Awesome. Alright, okay, good. Very good. Look like you memorized it. You look like you know it. So, Mr. Mac don't have to put it again. If I erased it again, I don't have to put it up again. It's always good to put it. So something for us to refer to, alright? Okay, good. Now let's look at this problem. You got bracket, division, and addition. Alright? So, bracket takes the top priority. That means I'm going to solve inside the bracket first. So I'm going to use the long I'm going to line it up for the subtraction. So 49, I'm going to line it up with 24 and then I'm going to subtract. 9 minus 4 is 5. 4 minus 2 is 2. So that gives me 25. Okay, then I'm going to rewrite everything in there. Okay? It's very important, okay? Make sure, alright? Now, who's next? Between division and addition, of course, division takes the priority. So I'm going to solve this one first, okay? So again, it's a big number outside our timetable. So we're going to use the long division method. We're going to use the cage approach. 325 is kind of into Mr. Mac. I'm going to put inside the cage. And 25 is kind of out from Mr. Mac. I'm going to put outside the cage. It's kind of out, alright? So we're solving this one. And then ask yourself, in 3, you can go to this next digit, will be 32. In 32, there's how many 25? There's only 1 can fit in, okay? So 1 times 5 is 5, 1 times 2 is 2. Minus, so 2 minus 5, you can't borrow from 3, 3 becomes 2, 2 becomes 12. 12 minus 5 is 7. 2 minus 2 is 0. Now I bring the 5 down. In 75, there's how many 25? Okay, in this case, we can make a guess, alright? So let's say 25 times 2 gives me 50, but how about 3? 3 times 5 is 15, 15 carry 1, 2 times 3 is 6, plus 1 is 7. Oh, 3 right there, okay? So that means 3 times 5 is 15, carry 1, 3 times 2 is 6, plus 1 is 7. Minus gives me 0. There's no more digit to bring it down. That means the end of it. That means 13, okay? So this one becomes 13 plus 8. And then I combine this two, 13 plus 8. 3 plus 8 is 11, 1 carry 1, 2. So it will be 21. Right there. Pretty easy, isn't it? Straightforward. All right, let's look problem number 10. Okay, problem number 10. You're given 20 plus 7 times 3, 12 minus 8. Now pretty much everything that we were doing so far, it's actually same pattern. It's just that applying this. Look at that. This one. It's just that Mr. Mac playing with it. I'm just putting different combination. That's all it is. But if you obey that rule, you'll never make a mistake. See that? Okay? What do we do now? Exactly. Right there you said. Do what's inside the bracket. So we're going to solve inside the bracket. 12 minus 8 is 4. Okay? So we're going to put 4, and this is multiplying with 3. Alright? And then 7 plus 20. What do I do next? See that? You get 7 times 3 times 7. 4. Okay? I can put a multiplication if I want. Is a dot or multiply, same thing. So look at this one. 7 times 3 times 4. So I can use right arrow method. I can use left to right method. I can use left to right arrow method. See that? That means I can times 7 times 3 and then times with 4. Or I can do the 3 times 4 and then times 7. See, when you're multiplying, you can take any combination. Keep in mind, alright? So in this case, I can times 3 times 4 and then times 7, or 7 times 3 and then times with 4. But always pick the easier way, which is what? 3 times 4 is 12. 12 times 7 is in our timetable. See that? If you do 7 times 3 is 21, times 4 is outside of timetable, so we're going to use the long way. So combine this first. 3 times 4 is 12. Times 7, from our timetable, 84. See that? We didn't have to do any working. We already know this all. We already know because from our timetable. See that? When you have 3 multiplying, okay, you can multiply in any combination. Alright? Like I can times this first and then times with 7. Or I can times this first. But how do I decide which I want to time first? Find a way such a way that you can multiply using your timetable that you memorized. In this case, Mr. Mac did 3 times 4 is 12. 12 times 7 is 84. If I do 7 times 3 is 21, and then I need to times with 4 because it's outside my timetable. So I take 4 times 1 is 4, 4 times 2 is 8. Still give me the same answer. Alright? Because when you take the exam, time is crucial. Time is very important. You got to save as much time so that you can use the time that you saved to use for the problem that takes a lot of time. See that? Some of the problems may not even take you a minute or less than a minute. But some problems may even take you 5, 10 minutes or 5 minutes or 10 minutes. See that? That's why you got to save all the minutes every second so you can save from all the problems. It does accumulate so that when the problems get difficult, you can use those time on that particular problems. Alright? Okay, good. So now, we did this one. We combined this and we got 84. Okay? So that means 20 plus 84. So what do we do? Line them up. So 84 plus 20. 4 plus 0 is 4. 8 plus 2 is 10. So your final answer is 104. See that? Isn't that fun? Look at that. That's upside down triangle. Alright? Okay, boys and girls. Okay, my dear students. Let Mr. Mac erase the board and then we'll do problem 11 and 12. Word problems. Wow. Alright, I'll see you in a few seconds. Alright, my dear students. We got a word problem here. So how do we do word problems? We read them. We read them as though we're going to understand them so well. Okay? Talk to yourself. Alright? Let's do it. Okay? Let's read it. In a school, and you can also see in the screen. Alright? In a school, there are 408 students. That means that's a total number of students in a school. The school has 5 Form 1 classes, okay, 4 Form 2 classes and 3 Form 3 classes. How many students are there in each classroom? Alright, so how do we understand this? Alright, so how do we interpret this? Okay, first you've been told the total, alright, okay, so problem number 11. So we're given total. The total is how many? 408 students, alright? Okay? And then we've been told Form 1 has how many class? Form 1, there are 5. Okay? Form 2, there are, let's see, 4. And then Form 3, there are 3. Alright? And we want to find out how many each classroom. How many students are in each classroom. So what kind of problem is that? So how do we do that? If these are the number of classrooms in that school, if we total them up and then we divide that with that, shouldn't that give us the number of students per classroom? See that? So that's why, look at that. So we take 408, we can divide that with the total of this, which is what? 5 plus 4 plus 3. See that? So you have to total that first. See, that's where the bracket comes handy. Can you see how in a real life situation the brackets and the division and the addition all comes into play? See that? You got to total this first before you can divide that into 408 to find the number of students in a classroom. So let's add them. 5 plus 4 is 9. 9 plus 3 is 12. 12 divided, and then you're going to put the division sign right there. And now this is outside our timetable range, so we're going to use the long division method. So 408 is kind of into Mr. Mac. I'm going to put it inside the cage. And 12 is kind of out. I'm going to put it outside. In 4, I can go to the next digit, which will be 40. In 40, there's how many? 12. From 3 timetable, we know 3 times 12 is 36. Minus 0 minus 6, I can borrow from 4. 4 becomes 3. 0 becomes 10. 10 minus 6 is 4. 3 minus 3 is 0. Then bring 8 down. In 48, there's how many? 12. 4, because 4 times 12 is 48. Minus gives me 0. There's no more digit to bring it down. That means that's the end of it. Okay? So that tells me 408 divided by 12 is 34 students. So each classroom there are 34 students. Alright? See how this word problem has been interpreted such a way that we translate that into a form of mathematical expression, and then we solved it right there. Very important, understanding the question. Okay? Alright, my dear students, ready for problem number 12? Again, another word problem. How do you deal with the word problems? Read it as though you want to get to the question. Alright? Understand the question. Okay? Alright, let's do that. Let's do it together, okay? Okay, you're going to see the question also pop up in your screen. Rahim buys 3 pairs of pens for 45 ringgits per pair. Per pair, see that? They told you that he buys 3, but they only gave you the price for 1. So that means what? The total would be what? 3 times the price of the per pair. So 3 times 45 ringgit, okay? He also buys 2 pairs of shoes for 120 ringgits per pair. Again, see that? They told you 2 pairs he bought, but they only gave you the price for 1, okay? So that means 2 times 120. So those are the things you got to, as you read, that thing should process in your head. Okay, they gave me 1 price, but he bought 2. That means 2 times 120. See that? That's a very healthy way of reading the question, understanding and interpreting all the things that's provided as you read it. Alright, because they didn't give it to you, they want you to find it yourself. That's why the beauty about word problem is challenges your thinking ability. Alright, that's why Mr. Mac loves word problems. Alright, good, let's get back here. Alright, he pays in 8 50 ringgit notes. He pays in 8 50 ringgit notes. How much is the balance after he paid for the purchase? Now see that? He pays in 8 50 ringgit notes. See that? They didn't give you total that he paid with. Alright? They kind of told you 8 50 ringgit notes. Alright, let's write all this. Okay, write that down. Alright, problem number 12. Now first part was what? He bought 3 pairs. 3 pairs of what? Pens. Okay, at the what price? 45 ringgit per pair. Okay, so 3 times for the pens. Alright, and then he bought 2 pairs of shoes for the price of what? 120. Okay, 120 shoes, and he paid 8 50 ringgits. Okay, he paid 8 50 ringgits. He paid. Alright, so the goal is to find what? The balance. See that? So once you write this, let's do it now. So first let's find out how to set up this question, okay, in a form of mathematical form. All right, so now look at that. 8, first let's multiply them out. Okay, 3 times 45, so let's do that. 45 times 3 times 5 is 15. 5, carry 1, 3 times 4 is 12, plus 1 is 13. Okay, so 135. So you paid 135 for the pants. All right, and then let's look for the shoes. 120 times 2. 2 times 0 is 0, 2 times 2 is 4, 2 times 1 is 2. So he paid 240 for the shoes. Okay, he bought 240 for the shoes. Okay, so that means he has to pay that amount, this 2 amount, which goes against this amount that he gave it to the cashier, which is 8 times 50. Okay, so we're going to put 50 times 8. 0 times 8 times 0 is 0, 8 times 5 is 40, so which is 400. So he gave the cashier 400 ringgits. So if he gave the cashier 400 ringgits, what does the cashier does? He or she, they take this one and take that one. That means the total of that. Alright, they take it out of the 400. Am I right? If I had to express that in a form of mathematical, which would be what? 400 minus the total of that, 135 plus 240. See that? See how the bracket comes handy? In this case, we don't use left to right method. Why? The bracket takes the priority. Okay? So you have to add this first and then you subtract with the 400. Very important. Okay, see, the bracket took the priority. If you have a problem like this, the bracket took the priority. The bracket took the priority. You see that? The total of this is how much you spend. That's what we're adding. We're taking out of that 400 ringgits, which is the 850 notes that you gave to the cashier. So she or he is going to take this total amount out of that and give you back what? The balance. So we got to add this two first. So line them up. All right. So we got 135. We're going to add that with 240. Okay. Very important. Line them up right. Okay. 5 plus 0 is 5. 3 plus 4 is 7. 1 plus 2 is 3. So that means we're going to take 400 minus 375. Okay. Again, we're going to line it up. All right. So we take 400. Okay, we're going to take 400 minus 375. Okay, 0 minus 5, I can't borrow from you. This one say I don't have anything. Look at 4. 4 say yes, I can borrow 1. 4 becomes 3 and 0 becomes 10. Now this one say I can borrow 1 and 10 becomes 9 and this one becomes 10. 10 minus 5 is 5. 9 minus 7 is 2. 3 minus 3 is 0. So that means she or he, the cashier, will return 25 ringgits back to you, to Rahim actually. So Rahim gets 25 ringgits, and that's the balance left after he paid with 850 ringgit notes towards the purchase that he made. 135 and 240 ringgits, the total. See that? So that's the thing. Remember that you multiply first, because you bought 3 pants and 2 shoes. You multiply, you get this. And then you total them up. And then you subtract out of the 400. Isn't that awesome? I told you. It's like a puzzle, you know. And you need to understand the word problem. And then you translate that into a mathematical form. And then you just solve it. That's the beauty about word problem. Alright, my dear students. That tells you what it's time for. Oh, look at Pablo. I love Pablo. He's awesome. He just stays on alert. He's just on top of it. He just said, alright, it's time for the quiz. Time for quiz. Time for quiz. Time for some more practice. Time for more practice. Alright. Okay, boys. Alright, my dear students. It's time for more practice. Alright. This time it's going to be on your own. Alright, that's the best way, because when you're coming up with the answer, Mr. Mac's not there to help you out. You're going to take a pride of that. Mr. Mac, I did it by myself. Look at that. He just challenged you. I dare you. You can come back and say, Pablo, I did it by myself and I got it right. I took your challenge and I got it. Alright? And also this is the end of our syllabus. And this is also end of our lesson on whole number. Alright, so I will see you in the next lesson, okay? Go get them, Tigers. Go have fun with the quiz and come back and see Mr. Mac on the next lesson. And I'll be here waiting for you. As always, I will. Bye-bye.